Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name's Lisa and this is Hobby Beauty. Today we're going to be talking about new makeup releases that have come out since my last video, which has been my last new Get Ready With Me new makeup releases video, which was probably a month ago. So let's get into it. There's a lot of makeup to talk about. First up, I feel like this month has been the month of foundations. I mean, regardless, there's been eyeshadow palettes. Eyeshadow palettes have come out, but foundations, there's been a lot of foundations that have come out. So let's talk about it. First up, I'm gonna mention that Anastasia Beverly Hills came out with their foundation. It's a luminous foundation and it's liquid foundation, dewy, skin-like, doesn't need to be set, in 50 shades, medium coverage. For $38, I would consider getting this foundation, but I like more of a matte finish, and I just bought 5 or 6 foundations for my foundation video. Puppies are in here. For my foundation video, and have not used up those foundations yet. So I would definitely want to use the foundations that I already have. There's also a setting powder. It's $36 and there's 5 shades. Again, not looking for a setting powder, but if I was going to, I might check out Anastasia Beverly Hills because all of their products that I've ever tried have worked very well. So I really like them. Speaking of Anastasia, they came out with an eyeshadow palette with Jackie Aina. The shades are pretty. There's some neutral tones, but then there's some pinkies and some pinks and some purples. And I definitely like the amount of shimmers versus mattes. So I would definitely consider picking this one up. That green is gorgeous. What else came out? So the ColourPop came out with the Strawberry Shake palette as well as the Strawberry Collection. There's a 9-pan eyeshadow palette, the lippy and blush stick, or sorry, not the lippy stick. They've got the blush and light sticks. They have some glossy lips, some Jelly Much shadows, some blushes. Definitely something I would look into picking up. I like the berry tones that are going on. Strawberry, berry tones. Strawberry's really in right now. It's very cute. It's something I would consider picking up. Plus the price point, you can't beat it. Elle Milkage and Carly Bible collabed on some lip glosses, lipsticks, and lip liners. I definitely like the nude shade and the mauve shade. I'm not as much into the red. The red is beautiful, but I don't really know. I think it'll be too much. I'm more of a neutral girl. I think it'll be too much for me personally, but I like all 3 of the shades. Fenty Beauty came out with a luminous dewy foundation, or sorry, a dewy foundation. Luminous dewy, same thing. For normal to dry skin, preferably. 50 shades. So it's something I would consider picking up. I have normal to dry skin, so I think that it would look really great on me. And plus, with the shade range, I mean, you can't go wrong with it. The Enchanted palette by Sigma Beauty is really beautiful. I think that it's something that I would consider picking up. Again, the neutral to, you know, you can dress it up with that mauve shade and some, they've got the dark shades in there and they've got the pressed, you know, the glitter, the shimmers. I like the ratio of shimmers to mattes, so I definitely think it's something I would pick up. Kylie Cosmetics came out with their her birthday collection. I love the palette. It's got the pinks and greens, which If you didn't know, I was in a sorority when I was in college, and those are the colors. So I think that it would be something that would bring me back and make me a little nostalgic. But I like the palette, the size of the palette, the amount of shimmers to mattes. It's got some neutral tones to it, so I definitely think that's something I would want to pick up. Kaleidos Cosmetics, or Kaleidos Makeup, came out with a Futurism neon palette and an electro turquoise palette. They're cute. I want to try some of the other palettes from Kaleidos before I would try those, and I'm not really into the rainbow palettes as of right now, so it's something that I would have to check out, but they're on my list of brands to try. Melt Cosmetics came out with some liquid lipsticks, 5 shades that are supposed to pull out your undertone of your skin tone, which I think is pretty cool. So I would definitely consider picking those up. There's some, let's see, they're $19 each, and there's some that bring out cool tone, golden tones, yellow tones, warm neutral tones. So there's one for everyone. What else came out? Melt Cosmetics is coming out with a foundation, Flex Foundation Stick in 36 shades. That looks cute, cool. I do like foundation sticks, but I'm more of a liquid foundation person. Morphe and Jeffree Star collabed on a palette, a brush set, and some sponges and a setting spray. The 30 Pan Artistry palette is $35. It's got a mix of neutral tones and colors. I think that it's something I would definitely look into picking up. The setting spray I haven't tried, but I'd like to try. The brush set is $42. And yeah, I'd pretty much like to try this whole collection. I think that it's an affordable brand, and I really like the formula of the shadows. I like their brushes. I think that this is something I would be very interested in getting. NYX Cosmetics came out with a lip lingerie push-up liquid or long-lasting lipstick. I mean, there's neutral tones in there, just not something I'm really looking for, but it's cute. Persona Cosmetics came out with a new palette. It's like the colorful sister to the Identity one. It's the Identity 2 palette. I think that if I were going to pick up either one of those palettes, it would be the Identity 1, but the Identity 2 is definitely cute as well. Can we just talk about Too Faced? What is going on with them? They've got the gingerbread extra spicy palette they've got going on, so they're trying to like pull in Christmas in the middle of August. And then they have this watermelon palette that they came out with that half the palette is the mirror, and then it barely has any shadows or face products. And then they just are confusing me with they've got this Palm Springs Dreams palette, which the color story doesn't really speak to me either. But Too Faced, you gotta get your stuff together. I mean, I love your foundation, I love your concealer, but the palettes just don't make sense. Next up, we have Beauty Bakeries coming out with some concealers. Some hydrating concealers, 18 shades. And then, who else? Let's see. Sephora's coming out with a foundation. Our new at Sephora. Balm by Kevyn Aucoin. Full coverage foundation. $52 each. Oh, wow. Okay. And Violet Voss came out with a coral palette and a matte rainbow palette. I'm not really in the market for either of those, but I have tried Violet Voss's formula and I really like it. Sugarpill's also coming out with a matte rainbow palette, and it's not really something I'm in the market for. Speaking of rainbow palettes, we also have the ColourPop rainbow collection with their pressed single eyeshadows in a Z palette in the rainbow. And then they have some eyeliners, some Super Shock shadows, a brush set, and a set of mascaras, and some Fourth Ray. So that's that. It's not really something I'm in the market for again, but they came out with that. e.l.f. came out with some palettes that are going to Target. I definitely like the Earth and Ocean one and the earthy tones in that. KKW came out with 2 palettes, the smoky one and matte smoky palette for $45 and the matte cocoa palette for $45. Again, I'm a neutral girl, so these palettes are speaking to me. Urban Decay came out with another Naked palette, the Naked Honey palette. It's again a neutral palette. It has more of the honey tones in it, except there's really not a yellow, even though the center one kind of looks like the shimmer is a yellow. It's a neutral palette. I just don't like the layout of the Naked shadows, so I'm not going to purchase that one. BH Cosmetics came out with their next Zodiac palette, which every single one of them has been so boring. But this is the Virgo palette. It's got a bunch of neutral tones and then a teal shimmer. You'd think I'd like it because of the neutral tones, but no. Benefit came out with a new Boying Cakeless Concealer. And it's 12 shades for $22 each. Or sorry, 22 each in 12 different shades. So there's that. Colored Rain came out with a collection. They're collabing with the show Power on Stars. And they've got the palette that's got some pinky purples in there, and then 4 blush duos and some lip products. I've never tried Colored Rain, but they look interesting. They're on my list of things to try. And Fenty Beauty came out with some brow products, brow pencils. So it's got the pencil side, and then it has like this little brush on the other side. It's not a spoolie, which kind of confuses me. Another product dropped by Anastasia. It is the Norvina collection. And it's volume 1, 25 shades. There's not enough neutral shades in there for me to justify purchasing it. Huda Beauty came out with a liner that looks interesting, like something I would want to purchase. Lime Crime came out with this Venus Immortalis palette. It's an 8-pound palette, and it's shades that I don't really have in my collection. It's cool tone shades, and I like that there's a black in there. Something I might look into purchasing. And Pat McGrath came out with a new palette. I want to try Pat McGrath, but the price point, I can't justify doing that palette personally. It's the Midnight Sun palette. I think that I would pick a different palette if I was going to go with Pat McGrath. And then Charlotte Tilbury came out with a new Airbrush Flawless Foundation. It's a liquid foundation. But again, the price point, I really like the foundations that I currently have, so I wouldn't be purchasing that. And those are all of the new releases that I saw that have come out since, or are coming out since I filmed my last video about new releases. Anyway, I hope you guys liked it. Hit subscribe and the like button, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye!